Vice President J.D. Vance said the funniest thing I've ever heard intentionally spoken by a vice president, possibly in my lifetime. We've heard some pretty funny stuff from idiots and amongst past vice presidents, but this one, he was just off the cuff trying to be funny, and it worked. Watch.
How are you doing the job differently than Kamala did it?
Well, I don't have, 4 shots of vodka before every meeting. That's one way I think that Kamala really tried to bring herself into the role is these word salads. And I think that I would need the help of a lot of alcohol to answer a question the way that Kamala Harris answered questions.
Damn! I mean, that's the only appropriate response to what JD just said about Kamala Harris. He went on to be more serious, and he did note, according to an article by Breitbart, he did note that that there wasn't a level of trust between Biden and Harris, and so, she was just less empowered to do her job. He said, and luckily I'm in a situation where the president trusts me, where if he asks me to do something, he believes it's going to happen. And obviously we'll talk about it and check in. That's all in the service of accomplishing the president's vision. And I think I try to remind myself of that every single day, that the American people elected Donald J. Trump to do a job. For him to do that job successfully, the people around him, starting at the top with the vice president, have to do their job. It's a very refreshing take on his role as vice president. I've said in the past that the vice president is basically just a backup quarterback. They're there to hold the clipboard. They don't really do anything. We saw that with Pence. We saw that with Kamala Harris. We saw that with pretty much every vice president outside of Cheney. Dick Cheney pretty much ran the country when he was number 2 to George W. Bush. But outside of that, vice presidents have generally tended to be nothing. They're just placeholders, possible successors. In this case, I would say that J.D. Vance is very quickly establishing himself as the GOP nominee de facto in 2028. Thank you so much for watching that video. If you have not already, now would be a great time for you to subscribe and to give me a thumbs up. It's just a couple of clicks, but it dramatically helps me, my family, and of course it helps the United States of America.